Durk said we all got second chances. From a jail cell in Los Angeles on his 33rd birthday, Lil Durk sent a message to the world. I love y'all. I'm doing better. We all got second chances. Beautiful words. Emotional words. Words that made his supporters cry and share and celebrate a man who is fighting for his freedom. But King Von's mother heard something completely different. She heard a man who made promises to her son that he never kept. A man who put Von in situations that Von did not fully understand. A man who watched her child build a career, who called Von his twin, his baby bro, his everything, and who is now sitting in a federal cell talking about second chances while Von has been in the ground at Burr Oak Cemetery in Illinois since November 14, 2020. King Von does not get a second chance. And Durk knows that. And Von's mom is done pretending that Durk's jail message did not hit her exactly the way it hit her. She went to her son's grave. And she said what she had been holding inside for 5 years. And Chicago will never be the same after what came out. Stay locked in. Now let us understand the full weight of this moment. Because before we get into what Von's mom said, before we break down every layer of why Lil Durk's jail birthday message triggered a response that the internet was completely unprepared for, we need to understand the specific relationship between King Von and Lil Durk. Not the music version. Not the social media version. The real version. The human version. The version that explains why a mother standing at her son's grave and saying Lil Durk lied to my son is not just drama, is not just content, is one of the most painful and significant statements that has been made about one of hip-hop's most celebrated friendships. Upon Von's release from jail in December 2017, Lil Durk signed Von to his Only the Family label. That single act, Durk reaching out to a young man who had just spent 3 years in Cook County Jail awaiting trial on a murder charge, and saying, I see you, I believe in you, come be part of what I am building, that was everything to Von. Because Von was not coming out of that jail with industry connections or a management team or a clear path to anything. He was coming out as a 23-year-old man who had spent 3 critical years of his young adulthood behind bars, who had watched the streets continue without him, who had no guarantee that the talent he was developing in that jail cell would ever find an audience. And Durk gave him that audience. Durk gave him the platform. Durk gave him the cosigns, the features, the label infrastructure that took Von from unknown to one of the most celebrated storytellers in Chicago drill history in less than 3 years. After signing, Von played a key role in the label's growth. This partnership led to the release of the mixtapes Grandson Volume 1 and Levon James, further solidifying his presence in the rap industry before the release of his debut studio album. And the music they made together, the specific creative chemistry between Durk and Von, was something that Chicago had not seen before. Because they were not just label mates. They were genuine creative partners. Men who understood each other's voice and each other's world in a way that translated into music that felt like a conversation between two people who shared something fundamental. Crazy Story 2.0. Twin Nem. Like that. Record after record that put Durk and Von in the same space and produced something that was bigger than either of them individually. And then there was the legal bond. In May 2019, both Bennett and Lil Durk were arrested in connection with a shooting in Atlanta. Prosecutors claimed that the two rappers robbed and shot Alexander Witherspoon outside a popular drive-in on February 5th. After weeks in jail, Durk was released on a $250,000 bond, while Von was released on a $300,000 bond. They got arrested together, faced the legal system together, were connected not just by music and by label affiliation, but by actual shared legal jeopardy. That is a level of entanglement, a level of shared risk, that goes beyond what most partnerships in any industry ever reach. And Von's mom watched all of this. Watched Durk sign her son. Watched them build something together. Watched them get arrested together. And watched Von build a career that was reaching heights that should have been protected. Should have been sustainable. Should have led somewhere that did not end in a parking lot in Atlanta on November 6, 2020. And that is where the lie comes in. That is where Von's mom's accusation has its root. Not in one specific broken promise. Not in one specific moment where Durk said something false and Von believed it. But in the accumulated weight of a relationship where, from Carla Wallace's perspective, her son was told certain things, promised certain protections, led to believe certain things about what his life inside OTF would look like, and the reality did not match what she believes he was told. And now Durk is in a federal jail sending messages about second chances and working on peace and hoping the city feels that too. And Vaughn is in a cemetery. And Vaughn's mom stood at that grave and felt the full impossible weight of that disparity. Because here is what Durk's October 19th, 2025 jail birthday message actually said. And you need to hear it in full before you can understand why it landed on Vaughn's mom the way it did. From the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles, Durk said, "My father had briefed me on what's going on. I wanted to let y'all know that I'm proud of y'all for the sake of Allah. I love y'all. I'm doing better, man. We all got second chances, and I just want to let y'all know that we with y'all 100%. When I get out of here, inshallah, I'ma leave back out." We all got second chances. Those 4 words. Those specific 4 words, coming from the man who Vaughn called his twin, from the man who Vaughn rode with, from the man who Vaughn's career was built alongside, those 4 words hit Vaughn's mother like a physical blow. Because Durk has a second chance. He is in a federal jail, but he is alive. He has attorneys fighting for him. He has Brian Steele, the man who helped young Thug walk, in his corner. He has a trial date and a legal process and the possibility of an outcome where he walks out of that detention center and resumes his life. Vaughn does not have any of that. Vaughn had his second chance taken at 26 years old in a parking lot that was covered with surveillance cameras that never produced a conviction. Vaughn had his life ended before his debut album had been out for a week. Vaughn left behind 3 children, including a daughter named Demi, who was born in July 2021. 8 months after her father was killed, and who will never know him as anything other than a voice on recordings and a face on murals. Durk also posted on Twitter saying, "I don't have all the words, but I'm thankful to still have a voice. Thankful for everyone who stood on love when things got heavy. I'm working on myself, working on peace, and hoping the city feels that too. Thankful to still have a voice. Hoping the city feels that too." Beautiful sentiment. Genuine sentiment, perhaps. But read those words through the eyes of a mother whose son does not have a voice anymore. Whose son cannot be thankful for anything because he is gone. Whose son was part of the same world that Durk is now sitting in jail over. A world that Durk helped build, that Durk signed Vaughn into, that ultimately produced the chain of events that led to a hookah lounge parking lot in Atlanta at 2 in the morning. And then there were the hidden tapes. Tapes surfaced of Lil Durk being interrogated, and Vaughn's mom said in connection with those tapes, "He knew who killed my son. He knew. Not suspected. Not heard rumors. Knew." That is the accusation. And whether it is accurate, whether Vaughn's mom has information that supports that specific claim, or whether it is the grief speaking in the most direct terms available to a mother who has been carrying this for 5 years, that accusation changes everything about how you look at Durk's jail birthday message. Because if Vaughn's mom believes Durk knew who killed her son, then "I'm working on peace, and we all got second chances" are not comforting words. They are enraging ones. And what Vaughn's mom did next, going to Vaughn's grave and saying what she said, was not calculated, was not a media strategy, was not a PR move designed to generate attention at a specific moment in the news cycle. It was a mother at the end of her patience. At the end of her ability to absorb the public celebrations of the man she holds responsible, at least partially, for the circumstances that led to her son's death. And the words that came out at that grave, the words that Chicago and the internet have been processing ever since, were the words of somebody who has been holding everything in for too long and finally let it out. And the community responded. Because Vaughn's fans, the millions of people who love his music, who carry his memory, who still stream Crazy Story and took her to the O and the debut album that he never got to see chart, those fans felt what Vaughn's mom was feeling. Because they have their own version of the same grief. Their own version of the same unanswered questions. Their own version of the same anger at a situation that ended the way it ended, with nobody properly held accountable. And the internet went crazy. Comment sections flooded. Videos went viral. Sides were taken. People who had been defending Durk's loyalty to Vaughn, who had pointed to the federal murder-for-hire charge as evidence of how deeply Durk felt Vaughn's loss, suddenly had to sit with the possibility that the person who knew Vaughn most intimately was saying something different. That the person who raised Vaughn, who loved Vaughn before the music and before the fame, was saying that Durk did not tell her son the truth. And that conflict between the public narrative of Durk and Vaughn as the ultimate friendship, the ultimate loyalty, the ultimate example of what it looks like when two men from the same streets build something together, and Vaughn's mom's private accusation that something in that friendship was not what it appeared, is the specific tension that this story lives inside of. Because the public narrative of Durk and Vaughn's friendship is one of hip-hop's most powerful stories. And it has been built carefully and consistently over years of music and interviews and social media moments that all pointed in the same direction. Toward two men who genuinely loved each other, who built something real together, and whose bond was as authentic as anything this industry has produced. And Durk's grief after Vaughn's death was real. Nobody who watched that Instagram live, who saw Durk's face change when the comments started coming in about what had happened in Atlanta, nobody who witnessed that moment could question whether Durk loved Vaughn. The pain on his face in that video is not performance. It is not content. It is a man finding out that somebody who mattered enormously to him is gone. And the federal murder-for-hire case, the allegation that Durk flew a crew from Chicago to Los Angeles to kill Quando Rondo in retaliation for Vaughn's death. If those allegations are true, they represent the most extreme possible expression of grief and loyalty. They represent a man who loved his friend so much that he allegedly committed a federal crime in the name of avenging him. And yet Vaughn's mom is standing at her son's grave, saying Lil Durk lied to my son. And those two things, Durk's documented grief and Vaughn's mom's documented accusation, exist simultaneously. And neither one cancels the other. And that is the most difficult thing about this situation for the community to process. Because people want it to be simple. Want it to be either Durk was a true brother who did everything he could, or Durk was a liar who put Vaughn in a situation he did not fully understand. And the truth, as it almost always is in situations this complex and this human, is somewhere in between. Is somewhere in the complicated space where real love and real failure can coexist in the same relationship. What does Vaughn's mom believe Durk lied about specifically? That is the question that the internet has been trying to answer. And the full answer has not been made public in explicit detail. But reading between the lines of everything she has said. The hidden tapes accusation, the "you lied to my son" statement, the reaction to the birthday message, a picture emerges. A picture of a mother who believes that Vaughn was led into situations that were more dangerous than he was told they were. That Vaughn was used in ways that served Durk's interests without fully protecting Vaughn's life. That the federal case, the murder-for-hire charge that Durk is facing because of what allegedly happened after Vaughn died, involves information and decisions that were made around Vaughn's death that Vaughn's mom believes she was never told the full truth about. And sitting with that accusation, really sitting with it rather than dismissing it as grief or as a mother's inability to accept the random senselessness of how her son died, requires acknowledging something uncomfortable. That the world Vaughn was in, the world Durk built and signed Vaughn into, was a world where the decisions being made around him had consequences that he may not have fully understood or consented to. That being Vaughn meant being inside a set of obligations and a set of relationships and a set of ongoing situations that were bigger than any individual person's ability to fully control. And that Vaughn's mom is asking whether somebody who was supposed to protect him from the worst of those consequences did everything they could to do that. And now Durk sits in Metropolitan Detention Center Los Angeles facing life in prison if convicted of conspiracy to use interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death. His trial is set for August 25, 2026. Brian Steele has joined his defense team, the same attorney who helped young Thug walk from the YSL RICO case. And the irony that Vaughn's mom cannot escape, that nobody who has been paying attention to this story can escape, is that Durk's legal situation exists entirely because of what allegedly happened after Vaughn died. The federal charges against Durk are directly connected to Vaughn's death. The murder-for-hire plot that prosecutors allege Durk orchestrated was allegedly motivated by grief over losing Vaughn. And so in the most literal possible sense, Durk's current imprisonment is a consequence of November 6, 2020. Is a consequence of the same night that put Vaughn in the ground at Burr Oak Cemetery. And Vaughn's mom is watching all of this from a grave in Illinois. Watching the man she says lied to her son sitting in a federal jail for allegedly trying to avenge that same son. And the complexity of those two facts sitting alongside each other, the grief and the love and the alleged failure and the alleged retribution all tangled together in the same story, is what makes this situation so impossibly human and so impossibly painful. She went to that grave and she said what she felt. And what she felt, What 5 years of carrying this grief and watching this situation unfold without ever getting the justice or the full truth that she deserved. What all of that produced was the most direct possible statement. Lil Durk lied to my son. And Chicago is still sitting with what that means. And the internet is still debating it. And the answer, the full truth of what was said and what was not said and what Vaughn knew and what Vaughn did not know, may never be completely public. May remain in that space between what families know privately and what the world gets to see. But Vaughn's mom made sure that one thing is public. That her son is gone. That somebody she trusted failed him. And that she is not going to stay quiet about it simply because silence is more comfortable for everybody else. That is what love looks like when it has nowhere else to go. It goes to a grave in Illinois, and it says the thing that has been true all along. And that is the complete picture that nobody else assembled for you today. We went from Lil Durk's jail birthday message on October 19, 2025, where he said we all got second chances from the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles, to Vaughn's mom breaking her silence on October 23 or November 1, 2025, publicly saying Lil Durk lied to my son. We covered the full history of Durk and Vaughn's relationship, from Durk signing Vaughn in December 2017 to them getting arrested together in May 2019 to Vaughn's death in November 2020. We covered the hidden tapes where Vaughn's mom said Durk knew who killed her son. We covered the autopsy leak that violated Vaughn's family's privacy. We covered the stand your ground dismissal that left Vaughn's murder legally unresolved. And we covered the impossible complexity of a mother who believes she was never told the full truth about what happened to her child, while the man she holds partially responsible sits in a federal jail for allegedly trying to avenge that same child. So now I need to hear from you. Do you think Vaughn's mom's accusation that Durk lied to Vaughn is based on real specific information, or do you think it is the grief of a mother who needs somewhere to put her pain? Do you think Durk's federal murder-for-hire case proves how much he loved Vaughn, or do you think it proves that decisions were being made around Vaughn that Vaughn himself may not have fully understood? Do you think the full truth of what happened around Vaughn's death will ever come out publicly, or will it stay in the private spaces between families who know more than they have ever said? Drop everything in the comments right now. This community goes deep on these conversations, and we want your real thoughts. The ones you actually believe, not the ones that protect everybody's feelings. If this video gave you something that no other channel assembled for you today, hit that like button immediately. Share this with somebody who thinks they understand the Durk and Vaughn friendship, because they have only ever seen the public version. The private version, the one Vaughn's mom is describing, is something else entirely. And if you are not subscribed, this is the channel that covers these stories with the depth and the honesty they deserve. Not surface level. Not 30-second reactions. The full story every single time. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell. Do not miss a single upload. Vaughn's mom went to that grave and said what needed to be said. And we will keep making sure that her voice and Vaughn's memory get the respect they deserve.